This week we asked the question, should you use the force to help keep weight off? Weight regain is one of the biggest problems our society faces. Yo-yo dieting increases the risk of a variety of age-associated disease, including cardiovascular disease. Now, research from Lowe & Associates, brought to us by Medical News Today, suggests maybe you can use the force to keep weight off. Published in Trends in Cognitive Sciences, Lowe and colleagues said there's a significant body of research suggesting that individuals who have less prefrontal cortex activity when making a decision may be more prone to craving calorie-dense foods and less resistant to food advertisements. So how strong is your mind? There are a variety of ways to test this. A simple method is the Stroop test. The Stroop test tests if your brain can eliminate information that's unwanted, less relevant, or maybe even hazardous to us. Basically, you ignore the word and just say the color. On the left-hand side, you see the color and the word are exactly the same. Red, blue, orange, yellow, green. On the right-hand side, remember, we're ignoring the spelling and just saying the color. Green, red, yellow, blue, orange. It takes about 1.5 times as long. The shorter amount of a difference between reading the list on the left and the right tells you how strong your brain is.
Goodbye. Oh no!
In another study published in the Journal of Weight Loss Therapy, there was greater food-related Stroop interference following behavioral weight loss intervention, again showing that this can even be taught. So how strong is the mind? Incredibly. Wim Hof might be the best example. This yogi is able to suppress his immune system when injected with bacterial toxins like lipopolysaccharide or LPS. Better than that, at Yale and other institutes where they bring in strangers, he's able to teach the same technique to people, and then when they're injected with lipopolysaccharide, they don't respond. This has implications for autoimmunity and all sorts of other diseases. A lot of power in the mind. Can we control weight regain? Can we control autoimmunity? Who knows? It could be possible. It seems to be more important what the brain believes than what the body experiences. The icing on the cake that illustrates how important perception is to reality is the observation that dehydration in athletes is not important to performance as long as the athlete has the capacity to gargle and spit sports beverage periodically throughout the activity. We all know that fluid ingestion is necessary for life, and extreme dehydration can kill us, but a sequence of studies a few years ago, led by Ashker Junkodrop, at the University of Birmingham, England, has transformed our understanding of how sports drinks work. In these studies, we've seen that simply rinsing the mouth with and spitting out a sports drink enhances running performance as much as actually swallowing it. These studies have also been conducted with cycling athletes and in a variety of other sports. As shown in this last study, it appears to work by affecting the same regions of the brain important to the Stroop effect. In other words, when the mind thinks that it's getting what it needs, it doesn't really care about what's actually happening to the body. So how strong is the mind? Very. We must have our patients understand that they have more power than they think they do, that when they believe, they can actually achieve. This can be applied to preventing weight regain, and our patients can have an enormous amount of success into the future. It's now time for hack or bodge. Dry fasting. Ever heard of it? Dry fasting basically is abstaining from water, abstaining from food. The theory is that it helps with ketosis and that it helps with activation of genes involved in repair of cellular machinery. So is there any evidence for this? In this particular study, anthropometric hemodynamic metabolic and renal responses, 10 healthy adults seem to have either no negative effect or a slight movement toward a positive effect on their overall health. Unfortunately, it wasn't controlled to food-deprived fasting, so we can't really know what the additional benefit, if any, from water was. And this is consistent with other observations. No negative effect, perhaps, but very little evidence to suggest a positive impact from having that additional withdrawal. Now in this one, dry fasting I call bodge. We just don't know. There's not much information. And a 30-minute walk is probably a safer well, maybe not in my neighborhood, but more effective metabolic way to improve your physiology without risk of dehydration or electrolyte or abnormalities. But tell us about your successes with this if you have had them. We're not going to be judgmental. Tell us about your failures. Let us know how dry fasting has worked for you. The food of the week this week is the walnut. Dole and others have been talking about how a walnut smoothie can help us lose weight. During one session, participants received a daily smoothie with 48 grams of ground walnuts. They received a similar smoothie during their other 5-day stay, minus the walnuts. At the end of each 5-day period, participants completed a visual analog scale, or VAS, which measured their feelings of hunger, appetite, and fullness. They were also shown a variety of images, from inedible items to low-calorie foods to highly calorific and desirable foods like hamburgers and desserts, while brain imaging was in progress. This was published in Diabetes and Obesity Metabolism. What investigators observed is walnut eaters reported feeling less hungry, plus they had increased activity in centers of the brain associated with better impulse control, using the force. These included the right insula of the brain, and when viewing desirable foods, they had a better ability to resist impulses associated with intake. I call this a hack. Definitely a hack of the week. So thank you very much for joining us for the very first ever GNN Nutrition News and Satire Show.